Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here. Well, today it's going to be like war. It's going to be like real war in Nigeria after this name, after this program, because I'm going to be mentioning today by name the biggest thieves in Nigeria, the biggest thieves in Nigeria, at least in the last 10, 20 years. Now, why am I doing this? Is it that I'm crazy? Is it that I've lost my mind? No. It's because, Nigerians are too diplomatic. We are too cunning. We are too deceptive. We are deceiving ourselves. And that deception is ruining us. It's ruining us as a nation and our country. The biggest evil that we have in that country is corruption. And corruption by public servants, by public politicians and people who have access to our commonwealth. So that's why we must expose them, because light drives out darkness. And secondly, because if we don't kill corruption, we the citizens, if we don't kill corruption, that corruption will destroy us. It will destroy our country. I know that when you expose corruption, corruption will fight back, but we have no option because this information is out there. And today I'm going to be talking about three categories of people. Now, I call this the Nigeria's biggest thieves by name, but they are going to be in three groups. The first group of people that I'm going to be talking about are the ones that are already convicted. So everybody knows that they are thieves, all right? Now, there is this presumption of innocence in the law that if somebody has not been convicted by a court of law, that you cannot term them as criminals yet, but these ones have been convicted. Then there are some who have not been convicted, but they have been charged. So we can talk about them as well. And then there is another group of people who have not been charged, but they have been suspected and they have been investigated. So I'm going to give you the three categories of people, and this is going to be a long ride, and I've tried my best to do it as fast as possible. So one of the ones that have been convicted, I'm starting with the convicted list, then charged list, and then we'll go to investigation list, is a former governor that is called Joshua Dariye. Joshua Dariye is the former governor of Plateau State. He was in charge of the state. He was supposed to take care of the people, of his people, take care of their well-being, but instead of that, he was taking care of himself. He was convicted of stealing $9 million from Plateau State. That is the only one that was proved. What about the one that was not proved? Only God knows. Then Diepere Alamesiega, or Alamesia, I think that's what they call him. Diepere Alamesia. Now, Diepere Alamesia was convicted of stealing $55 million from Bayelsa State. He's a hero right now in Bayelsa, even though he's dead, but he's still a hero to his people. But he was notorious more for disguising as a woman to escape arrest and airport authorities from England around back to Nigeria. The second person that has been convicted of robbery and of being a thief, the third person, is Jolie Nyame. Jolie Nyame. He was also a former governor of Taraba State. He was convicted and sentenced to 14 years imprisonment. So that is another person that has been convicted. Now, there is another person that has been convicted who is also a governor. It's like our governors are, governor position is an opportunity to steal. It's like it's an association of thieves almost, because I don't know what they are doing to curb one another and to discourage one another from stealing from the same people they are supposed to serve. One of them, the next one is Saminu Turaki, from Turaki, I think. Saminu Turaki, former governor of Jigawa State. He was alleged to have stolen 36 billion naira. Now, I'm going fast because there are plenty thieves. They plenty for my country. The other one is Tempere Silva. Now, I think this was only, so I'm starting from the list of alleged now. So I've spoken about the ones that have been convicted, but now we're talking about alleged. So, Tempere Silva he was, but the other one I spoke about, the one I just spoke about right now, he was also alleged, Turaki, but I think he's dead now. So, but let's talk about this one. This one I'm talking about, Tempere Silva, is very interesting because he's the former governor of Bayelsa State and is alleged to have misappropriated and stolen about 20 billion naira, 19.7 billion naira. In his own case, what is more interesting about him is that APC and my dear president went and nominated him as minister. So he's now the minister, I think, in charge of Niger Delta or something. So this somebody that is been alleged, I mean, I think he's been charged actually to court for this amount of money that has been misappropriated, and is now in charge of all the money for Niger Delta. Nigeria, we hail thee, right? The next one is also a governor, Muritala Onyako. It's like almost all governors are in trouble in my country. It's like, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with these governors. Okay, so though Muritala Onyako is an ex-governor of Adamawa State, alleged to have stolen 29 billion naira as well. Then we have Senator Danjuma Goje. I think he was also a senator, maybe I think he was also a governor. He was also alleged to have stolen 29 billion as well. You know, they like billions. Then we have Senator Abdullahi Adamu, alleged to have stolen 15 billion naira. Then we have Senator Oji Uzokano. This is another interesting one because he's a senator presently right now. He is alleged to have stolen 3.2 billion naira. And he's now a senator. Yeah, and then we have Femi Fani-Kayode. He has big mouth. He's the one who is always criticizing everybody and attacking everybody. But the reason he's attacking the government and everybody else is because he's under persecution. And he's been charged twice to court for having stolen 1.5 billion naira and then for having stolen 4.7 billion in separate charges. But of course, like I said, just charges are not the same as conviction. So Dezani Alison Madueke is the next one in our list of the biggest thieves in Nigeria. This one he was the former petroleum minister. The scandal of Dezani is well known all over the world, and she's been implicated and been charged to have stolen $2 billion. That is the only amount that was proven, right? What about the one that we couldn't prove? Then we have Babashir Lawal. This is another interesting one because Babashir Lawal is the former secretary to the federal government of Buhari. So Buhari, that is the fighter against corruption, under his nose, right in his office, this guy was misappropriating his office. And what he was convicted of is that he gave out a contract for $200 million to a company that is meant to, that money was supposed to be used for the displaced people, right? But he went and used the money for other things. So, he of course, President Buhari did the right thing. He sacked him. But he didn't even know about it until the opposition party and civil society began to raise their voice about it. So he has been charged, but he has not been charged. He has not been charged. So that's why we have to all speak. If we don't speak, some of these things will just be swept under the carpet. Now, the other person who is in the list of our most corrupt and of the biggest thieves in Nigeria is the cousin to our ex-president, Jonathan. So the cousin of Jonathan is called Robert Azibaola. And he's been convicted, I think, in the Federal High Court that I think he has been convicted already, but he was charged to court for stealing $40 million from the then office of NSA. So that is the right-hand man and the relative of our former president. Now, the next one in the list is the ex-National Publicity Secretary for PDP, Olisa Metu. You remember the guy that after Jonathan lost the election is the one that was in the INEC shouting and making all the noise. And now he has even said PDP has betrayed him. Well, he's being charged for 1.4 billion that he stole from when he was in the NSA. Then the next thief, the next biggest name in our list of thieves in Nigeria is called Andrew Yakubu. You remember the apartment in the house in Kaduna where the bond dues of pounds, British pounds was found, and naira as well. Well, this Andrew Yakubu is the man that, he was the managing director of NNPC. He's the one that is alleged to have been the owner of that £9 million and 75,000 pounds, $9 million, I think, and 75,000 pounds that was found in that house. Then this other one he has a great influence in Nigeria because he owns a television station. His name is Raymond Dokwesi. He was a very close friend to Ibori, the biggest thief, and he is a good friend. Of course, he was also charged to court for stealing 2.1 billion from then the office of NSA as well. Then you have one of the one of the assistants, one of the personal assistants to Jonathan as well. His name is Dudafa Warepamo Owe. He was also charged to have stolen 830 million. But we kept them in 4 different accounts. They fed 4 different companies, but he was apprehended as well. Then a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it was the Federal Republic, it was the minister in charge of Abuja, what they call them, is a governor or minister in charge of the Federal Capital Territory. So he was the governor or like the mayor of Abuja. His name is he left just recently, Bala Mohammed. But in his own case, they couldn't trace money to him, but they traced 10 choice houses to him in Abuja because he was in charge of Abuja. So they wanted some of the best houses in Abuja, 10 of them. He pocketed them just in case, maybe by accident. Then the other one that is notorious in our list of thieves is also back in she was a former senator, then a minister, I think she was reelected as a minister again, as a senator again. Her name is Mrs. Stella Odua. Mrs. Stella Odua is alleged to have stolen 9.4 billion, and her people went and re-elected her and put her in the Senate again because it's our own. Our own is our own. So that is what is happening in our country. Now, but those 2 categories of people that I've mentioned now are the people who have either been convicted of stealing and being thieves, some of the biggest notorious thieves in Nigeria, or they have been charged. So now let's talk about other people, another category of people who are top-ranking public officers. They have not been convicted, but they are under investigation, or they have been investigated, and maybe the thing is still ongoing. One of them was the former Chief Justice of Nigeria. You see, it's like everybody in the country, we started with the governors, then we went to the senators, then now we are on judges. It's like everybody. So that is why I said the value system is our problem. Until the government begins to address the issues of value system, until we begin to re-engineer Nigerians from kindergarten to university, until we begin to identify our values and begin to recreate and reformulate the mind and the value system and the mindset of Nigerians against corruption, we must know that fighting corruption is more important than building roads. Fighting corruption is more than building bridges. We must make sure that this is our national project, that there should be nothing more important than fighting corruption. Everybody should be on board. Everybody's hand should be on deck. We should all join this fight, and we should all, make sure that the government puts this at the front burner. There is nothing more important. All of us are corrupt, so to say, at the end of the day. Maybe not all of us, like individually, but the whole country is corrupt. Our value system is being compromised. We have been compromised. And also the reason is because we have never really been formulated. We have never really been created to be Nigerians. We on values and on principles that we want the people to be like. So we are just living by instinct, and one of the instincts is survival instinct. And because of this survival instincts, where there is no values, we just live on the vices that is natural to the carnal man. So even the Chief Justice of the Federation, somebody that is in charge of justice, that is in charge of law, the rule of law, his name is Walter Onogen. He was also, charged with corruption. Then another one of them that has been charged, that has been investigated, that is still under investigation, is a former governor of Ekiti State. He likes to talk a lot, but for some reason, about 7 billion naira found its way to him, and he's not been able to explain himself. Then you have another one, who is in this governor. Some people are even saying he will become a Nigerian president one day, or he will become the next Nigerian president, and he's a ruling governor right now. He was a former governor of Ekiti State. He was a former minister for solid mineral resources, and he seems to be an educated person. But now he has been accused of stealing about 5 billion naira. But how true that is, some people say it is in Nigeria, there is this culture. Whenever they accuse you of something, you begin to say, oh, it's the government that wants to destroy me. But this one is in the government, so this one, it's not the government, okay, we are in the government, so it is the opposition. It is the next government that came after after me, that were just attacking me. So, but go prove yourself. And like I said, all these people have not been charged, and they have not been, some of them are charged, but they have not been convicted. So, so we're just putting it out there that they have been accused of these things, and they have been, they need to defend and clear their names. But the one that really broke my heart is Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, of course, has refuted this, but she's been accused also and been challenged that she was, connected to the loss of $2 billion in Nigeria. And I find that very difficult to believe, because she seems to me like a woman of integrity. But who knows? Let EFCC do their job. But she has been declared as being in custody or being aware of the loss of $2 billion dollars in Nigeria. Then the next one, who has been accused of stealing 30 billion naira, is the present governor of Kogi State, and he's seeking re-election right now, and he's probably going to be re-elected very soon. I think by the time this video comes out, he will have probably been re-elected, because he stands a very good chance of being re-elected. But the problem with Kogi State is that both the one that is sitting right now is being accused of corruption, and the one that is the opposite, that was there before, that is the opponent that was there before, that also two of them are fighting one another, two of them has been accused of being corrupt. So this one is accused of 30 billion, stealing 30 billion from Kogi State. Then the former governor that wants to come back again, and they are fighting among themselves to win the governorship position. Two of them have been accused of corruption, and he's been accused of stealing. That is, his name is Captain Idris Wada. He's been accused of stealing 4.3 billion. So, and the two of them are the only candidates, or they are the leading candidates to come back as the governor of the state. So Nigeria is just like between the hard place and the rock, between the rock and the hard place. There's no escaping for Nigeria. So that's why the people must take their destiny into their hands. Only the people now must arise and begin to condemn and stand for their country and fight for what belongs to them, and begin to condemn corruption in all forms. Then this other one is a very interesting one. Former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio. He's the current minister, I think, for Niger State, Niger Delta also. I think he's a minister right now. He's been accused of stealing 108 billion naira, and the case is still in court. But when my dear president went and appointed him as a minister, even though we are talking about presumption of innocence, but let him clear himself before you made him minister again. Then we have Jonah Jang of Plateau State. This one has been convicted already. He was a former senator. I think he was a former governor as well. He's been convicted of 6.2 billion naira. I think he's been convicted, or charged at least. So then we have another former governor, Ali Modu Sharif of Borno State, also been investigated for stealing 200 billion naira. Not 200, I think 300 billion naira. Then you have Chief Lucky Igbinedon. Chief Lucky Igbinedon is the former governor of Edo State, and he's also been convicted to have stolen 25 billion naira. Not convicted, but accused, I think charged, for have stolen 25 billion naira. Now, the next one is a very interesting personality, because she was the first lady of Nigeria. Our Madame Godday, is it Godday, she said? There is God, though. I think there is God, though. Madam Patience Jonathan. The wife of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, was also charged to have stolen $31.4 million, and many other charges have been, some of the money have been seized, thank God. So, and the first lady, is like corruption is just everywhere, from the presidency to the Senate to the parliament to the governors, everywhere, to the judges. Then the last one I'm going to talk about is also a former minister of justice. I think it was a minister of justice. He was the Attorney General of the Federation. Yes, he was also a minister of justice. Mohammed Adoke. Mohammed Adoke is a son, all right? But he was also accused of stealing $6 billion, I think, together with some people. $6 billion. $6 billion. So the list goes on and on. Let me still talk about one. Godsday, I think they call it. Godsday Orubebe. Godsday Orubebe was a former minister of Niger Delta. If Niger Delta is another case, it's another ball game. Niger Delta is receiving 13% of all our revenue, and you can't see anything to show for it. This one, Orubebe, is accused of stealing 53 billion, 63 billion. And Niger Delta is just, I'm going to do another program just about Niger Delta. The next one is, of course, the husband of, Diezani, the husband of Diezani, Rear Admiral Alison Madueke. Alison Madueke's husband, that is the husband of, Diezani. He was also being charged and being accused of corruption. Then this one really surprised me because he was a special advisor to the president on media and publicity, to Jonathan. His name is Dr. Reuben Abati. He's from my state, but he's known as a journalist. And how could it be? I'm having problem believing that he was charged of corruption, but he was, because he's been investigated for corruption of, I wonder how much money was that with Abati, Dr. Abati. How much was it? I don't know how much, but can't remember. But he's been charged. He's even been detained by, at a point, by EFCC. Then the next one is Donye Okukwe, also from my state, and also very surprising because he comes from a famous family and is supposed to be, self-sufficient. But all these people are coming from prominent families, but still, problem day. Donye Okukwe has been charged with, or convicted, or not convicted, but charged, or accused of stealing 702 million naira. Then we have Abdullahi Diko, former Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs. He was the one that left before now. He's the one that remitted, in like a year, what this new one is remitting in a month. And he's been stolen. He's just been accused of stealing 1 billion, but 1 billion is not small too. Then you have Colonel Bello Fadile, and then he was the assistant to, he's been retired now, but he was one of the assistants to Sambo Dasuki, and the past, national security officer, and they were both charged to have been accused of stealing that 2.1 billion arms scandal, which got Dasuku into prison. Then this one is another serious one and a very, very, very sad one for me, because we have two major parties in Nigeria. The first major party is APC, then the other one is PDP. The president, the chairman of that PDP right now, was also formerly accused of stealing $250 million. I mean, $250 billion naira. And so the charge is still on him, and he's the head of our main political party. But he's been accused of corruption. Justice Abdul Kafarati is another one from, just like corruption has just permeated anywhere you see corruption. So what should we do? We need to go to the root of our problem. And that is, we lack values. We don't have values, no virtues. We need to go back to that root, dig out the root cause, and fix it. I mean, it's not science. It's not rocket science. It's straightforward. We should just use this scientific method to see what our problem is, and our problem is lack of values. Let's go to the root and let's go and fix value system in our country. This last person I want to talk about, his name, he was a justice, he was a judge, and Justice Mohammed Samir, I think, who was recently retired compulsorily by the National Judiciary Council for stealing 200 million naira, for taking bribe for 200 million naira. So I don't know where to start or where to even stop. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. And that's why I've got to go to the radical step of mentioning their names, doing this video, so that all Nigerians will join in this campaign and will begin to shame these people. We will hate. We've got to hate corruption as a people. And we've got to know that to go and serve, to have access and, to public funds and money is not to go and steal them. We've got to hate corruption so bad that it will be a disgrace, a thing of shame to even talk about, to even relate corruption to any one of us. We must win this fight. If we don't win this fight, we don't have a country again. For the love of God, church and nation. Peace.